You love him, you hate him, you want to name your children after him. Scott just keeps on delivering. In fact, this is still part of the first order that he had sent me, and it's just taking forever to get to, but it's all good, it's all beautiful. As you can tell, we have a Truglo. Not just any sort of Truglo, but an LPVO Truglo, a 1:6x24, a $200 LPVO. It promises the world. It literally gives you everything you would need to mount this to your rifle and get shooting with it. Starting off with the box, it is basically as simple as you can get. There's only one sticker, that's it, and there's no frills. I like that. Why? Because the money is put into the scope, all $200-ish of it. Now, granted, I would like to see this foam be cut in half, one on either end, but this is the way it goes. Lifetime limited warranty, blah, and probably the smallest instruction booklet I have ever seen. Enough of that malarkey. What does the scope actually look like? As a whole, the package looks, I think, pretty damn good. And it has some really nice features, especially for $200. Right off the bat, we're going to start at the rear, and you will note that it not only has a flip cap, it has aluminum flip caps that are held in place with magnets. You have an independent swivel ring on the inside. So this part actually threads into the ocular adjustment, and then this outer part pivots on that. So you can get this nice and tight and then orientate this however you need to. One thing, this magnet did come out from this cap, so that's going to have to get crazy glued in place, but there is an O-ring over here to seal this better. Same thing goes to the front, exact same style cap, and it is, quite frankly, beautiful. Now, I'm sometimes not the biggest fan of caps because what sometimes happens is it'll shrink your field of view down when you're looking through it, but in this case, I'm actually happy that they're here because they do have a very important role to play. If you don't like them, you take them off. But for around $200, these are freaking awesome. Go into the ocular adjustment. Sounds a little gritty, but it's kind of smooth, and it does have some wiggle in it. Quite a fair amount, I would say. Probably some of the most I've felt. Going on to the magnification ring, it is very smooth, and with this throw lever, it's very easy. However, there is some noticeable play back and forth, and this does wiggle like so. You see the gap in between the ring and the housing? Yeah, it leaves a lot to be desired. I might as well talk about the base while we're at it. It does have one stop for a pick rail, 2 socket cap screws on this side. From here, we're going to move over to the illumination control, which is a little bit unique in a sense that it does not have detents in between its power level. It literally just has on off, and then you disengage it and you start ramping it up to maximum illumination, but then it has an off again and it goes from red to green. There is a little bit of a cattail over here, so you can index this front to back to know where your off position is, but it's so small you might not notice it right away. Moving on to the elevation turret, you're going to notice that we have a BDC style turret, and they're not just BDC style turrets, but they're also locking. Yes, that is correct. You get locking turrets on a $200 LPVO. Once they're down, it's in there. That's not going anywhere. You pop it up, and then you clock it up for your yardage. So this is going to be obviously zeroed in at 100 yards. You click it up to 2, 3, 4, all the way up to about 800 yards. Now, there are a lot of variables to this as far as your bullet weight, what's your elevation, what's your barrel length, what ammunition you're shooting, as far as velocities. There's a lot to this, which is one of the more negative things that I could see happening about it. However, you get some dope. If you're 300 yards, actually 320 yards, you figure that out. Enough of that. This turret sounds awesome. Very little play once it's in, but it's a very sharp, crisp detent, and it feels pretty damn tight. And again, the fact that this is locking is just awesome. You don't get any fancy sort of numbers on your windage, but it does go left or right from 0, which I really like. I don't like it when it goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, up to 20 all the way in one rotation, because it's a lot harder to figure out where you are in relation to 0, whether going left or right. Again, turrets sound awesome. They feel awesome. And the fact that these are locking just makes it really impressive that they were able to come up with a package like that for $200-ish. But enough of that. Let's take a look at the glass. So at 1x, there is some fisheyeing and there is some magnification. That's to be expected. And unlike the segmented circle reticle of the AccuPower that I reviewed a couple months ago, I actually like how this circle looks in comparison to that. I also like that there's a nice defined dot right in the center. Going from 1 to 6, again, this magnification ring is extremely smooth. This is a second focal plane scope, so your reticle is not going to be changing sizes. Illumination is actually fairly bright. I'm really surprised by that. I would go as far as to say that both red and green are basically daytime bright. Now, they're not going to be, oh my god, I'm going blind from looking through it, but if you need a little bit extra illumination to help you get on target better, this would probably work out well. The glass itself looks pretty damn good. A little muted as far as the colors go, and it's not as sharp as many other optics I've seen, but again, this is a $200 optic. All in all, I have to say, I'm pretty impressed so far. The biggest thing I'm going to be worrying about is the tracking on this, because if this doesn't track well as far as just going up and down perfectly vertical, then you're going to have a problem when you're trying to reach out beyond your 0. Color me impressed so far, Scott. Color me impressed.